What's going on, everybody? The Diehard MMA Podcast was filmed live and exclusively on odds.com. So if you missed the live show, click the link below. It'll take you over to odds.com where you can watch the exclusive replay where we go over UFC 255 and all the betting action, our favorite spots with special guest Matt Holt from US Integrities. Thank you very much. Share this link out, and we'll see you guys over on odds.com. We are coming up on another very intriguing fight. I know you guys are probably getting sick of hearing me say that, but this entire card, top to bottom, in my opinion, is really fun from a matchup standpoint. We've got Katlyn Chookagian, 14-4, taking on Cynthia Calvillo, who is 9-1. Really quick turnaround for Katlyn Chookagian. She's coming off of her absolute demolishing loss against Jessica Andrade, a spot where I have a personal beef with Katlyn Chookagian. I can't stand betting on her. She's robbed me so many times when I bet against her, and I finally took the plunge because I thought the size difference would just be too much for Andrade, and she made me pay for that too. So I have a problem with Katlyn Chookagian, and here she is taking on Cynthia Calvillo, another smaller fighter who's moving up in another weight class. And again, we just got to talk about that height and reach. That's kind of the story of this fight, in my opinion. Cynthia Calvillo, she's a grinding wrestling type of fighter, really grappling heavy approach. She's worked hard on her boxing. Her striking is improving, but she's 5'4" with a 64-inch reach. Chookagian is 5'9" with a 68-inch reach. She's going to have a field day as far as being able to put that height and reach to her advantage. And with Cynthia Calvillo coming up a weight class, can she take down Chookagian? She doesn't have that mauling, vicious power that someone like Jessica Andrade does, where she can just pick them up over her head and slam them to the floor anytime she wants. That's not her style. She's more of a double leg, single leg, trip them, take them down. And we've seen Chookagian be able to defend those kinds of spots and get out of those kinds of takedowns. So I feel like this is another recency bias situation where the line might just be a little too wide, with Calvillo being minus 250 and getting plus 200 on Katlyn Chookagian. What do you think, Matt?
This one's interesting to me. I have been on the right side of some Chookagian fights. I mean, the one fight I bet her the most was against the older Shevchenko sister, which I couldn't believe that Katlyn was a dog in that fight. I mean, if you watch the older Shevchenko, we already talked about it, 35. She just doesn't have much in terms of an all-around skill set, and Chookagian exposed that by continuously taking her down. And I also bet her against Jennifer Maia, who I thought she looked really good against, and neutralizing Jennifer Maia's ability. And I don't know that she was fighting a bad fight against Andrade in that last one. That one body shot changed everything. Up until that point, I thought Chookagian, because let's face it, Andrade is always going to win the first round. If Chookagian and Andrade fought 100 times and Chookagian wins 28 of the 100 or 30 of the 100 fights, even in those 30, Andrade wins round one. That's just her style. She's a fireball. But I thought Chookagian was actually doing a good job of striking at range in that fight. And then she got hit with that body shot, and that was it. That was the end of it. Now, Cynthia Calvillo, I think, is actually other than the younger Shevchenko, the champion, the most dominant champion we have in all of MMA, I think that this is probably the second toughest fighter that Chookagian's ever fought. But Calvillo she is so little at this weight class. I know she had trouble making weight at 115, but her body and her size says get a dietitian specialist to help you lose that weight properly and kind of readjust your body frame to properly carry enough weight to fight at that. Even though she beat Jessica I, was anybody blown away, impressed with the performance by Calvillo against Jessica I? And Jessica I is a slow, plodding, at this point, it's not good, right? So I don't understand. I don't know. For me, it's Chookagian or pass, and I'm thinking about doing it again. I do think that if you want to plug something into parlays, and I don't have any here, but if you're saying, hey, are there any parlays that you feel really good about, whether it's a favorite or a big minus? I think over 2.5 rounds here is about as solid as it gets. Chookagian has 14 career wins. 11 of those went to decision. She has two career knockouts, one sub. She is not subbing Cynthia Calvillo in this fight. That is for sure. And she's probably not knocking her out either because she's not a power striker. And at the end of the day, Calvillo may choke her out if she gets on the ground, but Chookagian's been working on her ground game so much. That's been the big emphasis for her. She was so excited to get to show it off against the older Shevchenko. I actually think because of her size and length, she's going to be a problem to try to submit. I do think this one's going to the judges' scorecards. I don't have a bet personally, but if you're one of those people that likes to parlay things in this spot, over 2.5 rounds might be as safe as anything on this card.
That might be the legitimate lock of the night. I mean, it's minus 380 right now, but for good reason. You know, Calvillo at this size, she doesn't seem to be as much of a threat because of that size discrepancy. And Chookagian is just a decision machine. She has no ability to finish a fight. She had the other Shevchenko on her back, full mount, for like 2 minutes in that fight and still couldn't get a TKO out of it. So, yeah, that's a good call. I completely agree with that. The issue for me, I've got that recency bias. I've been burned by Chookagian, whether I bet on her, whether I bet against her. So it makes me kind of hesitant to go anywhere near this spot. But I just feel like the line is so incredibly wide. And that's coming from a guy who doubled down hard on Cynthia Calvillo when she fought Jessica Eye. We bet Calvillo, I think she was minus 120 at the time, against Jessica Eye, and then we did the post-weigh-in show. We saw how she came in on the scale. I was shaking on the scale. So we doubled down. We went hard on that spot because I had a really rough weight cut. And because of that, we had an easy coasting cash there. But like you said, she wasn't impressive in that fight, even though she got it done. The stats show that she outlanded her, 113 significant strikes to 73, but she got 4 takedowns. That was primarily ground strikes, and Jessica Eye didn't really offer up any kind of a defense there. So I feel like this is very, very similarly to the Joaquin Buckley spot earlier in the night where the favorite has a big light shown on them and everyone's high on them now, and I feel like the line may have swung a little bit too hard the other side. I'm very tempted to roll the dice one more time on Katlyn Chookagian, even though I know everybody in the chat is just going to absolutely lash me and I will get hell on Twitter for it. But we'll see where this line goes because once again, it's just money pouring in on Calvillo. She opened up minus 172. Now she's minus 250. And again, let's watch the line because it opened up plus 150. The bookmakers know this fight is a lot closer on paper than the public seems to think. If it gets up to plus 250, holy crap, like that would be a must bet situation for Katlyn Chookagian, in my opinion.
And I think what's interesting here, and I think what makes Chookagian more alive here is that if you think about the last fight for Calvillo, she thought she was going to get a title shot off that fight. But then it wasn't an impressive performance, and she was in the main event. It was 5 rounds of sleepwalking through it. So at the end of the day, and now she wants another title shot, and she knows she can't just do lay and pray for 5 rounds because there's no way she's going to get a title shot, and she desperately wants that shot against Valentina Shevchenko. So I think she may take more risks on the feet, just trying to look impressive and make it more of an exciting fight so she'll stop getting passed over. Because let's face it, if you had to pick, if you're UFC, all things are considered, I could throw Jessica Andrade in for that title, or I could throw Cynthia Calvillo, and I have to sell tickets. Which one am I putting in there? Putting Jessica Andrade in there because she's going to go in there and bang, and it's going to be more of an exciting fight. So I think Calvillo knows that. She's going to try to make this more of an exciting fight, but when she's at her best, it's because she's getting takedowns and landing ground strikes. It was never in question that Jessica Eye fight. She dominated every round. They were just 5 really boring dominating rounds. Yeah. So I think maybe trying to get that title shot, she says, "Oh, I'm going to stand and bang with this girl," plays right into Chookagian's hands. And at 2-1, maybe we get to be more alive than we would if she just shot takedown after takedown.
Yeah, that's entirely possible as well. And hey, like I said, I've been on the wrong side of Katlyn Chookagian. The kiosks that she does, sells it to the judges for some reason.
Yeah.
She misses her opponent by a mile, but she yeah. That's all she does the whole time. And somehow, like I always got to go back to I think the Joanne Calderwood fight. I bet my girl JoJo in that fight. And I was robbed blind by Katlyn Chookagian because she made noise the entire time, and it seemed like she was striking a whole lot more than she actually was, especially here when we've got the empty arena, no fans, no nothing. Those judges, all they're going to hear is Katlyn Chookagian. Yeah, plus 200 seems like a spot where she might weasel out a split decision. So we'll see if I end up going on that one. I've got some PTSD from my last round of women's MMA bets, so we'll see. But I don't hate it. I don't hate it.